Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanan Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome to all the devotees in today's session of the Secrets of Bhagavad Gita. Today we are going to discuss Bhagavad Gita chapter 1, text number 40. So let us start. अधर्मापि भवात् कृष्ण प्रदुष्यन्ति कुलस्त्रियः स्त्रीषु दुष्टासु वार्ष्णेय जायते वर्णसङ्करः. I will read translation purport. Translation: when irreligion is prominent in the family of Krishna, the women of the family become polluted, and from the degradation of womanhood or descendant of Vishnu comes unwanted progeny. It's a very important verse for our current society. So let us hear what Srila Prabhupada has to say. Purport: good population in human society is the basic principle for peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress in life. So, to attain peace, prosperity, and spiritual progress. So, in other words, to get material happiness or material progress, or to achieve spiritual happiness or spiritual progress in society, we need good population. How is it so? Because only through good population we can really think about our real material benefit or spiritual benefit. Those who are not born of goodness or uh, who do not have such a uh, family samskaras from their parents or from their elders, generally they do not give any importance to their own well-being, whether it is material or spiritual. So they are, uh, we can say, they are more or less like animals because they do not really care for themselves, let alone about others. Because when someone is in ignorance, uh, he does not know what to do with his life, and that is the situation we see today. That people really don't know what to do with their lives, either materially or spiritually. So even for achieving material success, they do not follow the proper strategy. And for regarding spiritual life, they don't have any clue. So this is the society we are living in. So uh, given this scenario, it is very imperative for us to understand this particular point, that good population means population born of people who are high in character, whose character are uh, praiseworthy or noble in terms of scriptures. We do appreciate and praise uh, characters of many people. Uh, we celebrate, uh, we appreciate many celebrities. However, the these people are not the ones who are really able to be role models for us. So it's a natural tendency that whoever is famous by any means, we tend to respect them and appreciate them. So that's a general tendency. But if such role models, so-called role models, if they are not guided by dharma, they actually uh, commit disservice to the society, because by their uh, so-called good behavior or achievement, they misguide others. So we do not want uh, such role models in our society, and that is why it is essential that we should have real role models in our society, and that can be achieved by good population. So how to get that good population has been further explained by Srila Prabhupada. Continuing, the Varnashram religion's principles were so designed that the good population would prevail in society for the general spiritual progress of state and community. So, to have good population, one must have Varnashram dharma in society. So, nowadays, what we see in our society is not actually Varnashram dharma in uh, any real sense. Whatever we have, that is some distorted form of varnashram. So we do have four classes of people, mainly intelligent class, administrative class, mercantile class, and labor class. But their aim is not purification, or the activities which they are performing does not lead them to any purification. Rather, they such activities or such duties implicate them into more and more sin. So that is a very sad situation of our current society, where we have varnashram but in a very distorted form, in a very perverted form. So ideally we should have uh, brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, and shudras. And when we say brahmanas, kshatriyas, vaishyas, and shudras, uh, they perform their uh, task as per dharma. So brahmanas are intelligent people, so they will guide society as per the shastra, not what we see in today's society, where the many intellectuals like scientists and the so-called motivational speakers, but they guide us in a different directions. So regarding these brahmanas, and similarly we have kshatriyas, administrative class. So we also have uh, presidents and ministers. So these are the people who are supposed to give us protection. However, we say that these are the same people who uh, plunder our money and actually do not really care for their citizens. They appear before public only during uh, election time, and it's very unfortunate situation that though we know that the people who come for us uh, getting our votes, they do not really appear before us. The only time they come before us is election time. After that, they never show their face, and still, uh, out of foolishness, we go to vote them. So that's again unfortunate situation for our society. Of course, there are some relatively better politicians in our society, but here we are talking about in principles, that how our leaders, our administrators should be guided by scriptures. Otherwise, they may have some good sentiments uh, towards citizens, but unless and until they are guided by Vedic scriptures, they will not be able to serve their citizens in a true sense. So they may be able to provide some technology or some modern facilities, but eventually they will be creating more and more problems, because to be an administrator, or to act as a king, or uh, Kshatriya, one should also know how to protect citizens. And when we talk about protection, it's not really protection in terms of physical protection, but also in terms of uh, their spiritual well-being. So if we uh, only promote sense gratification uh, in the name of material well-being, and we do not pay any attention for spiritual well-being, then we are not actually performing our role as an administrator. So when we say varnashram dharma, so we should have kshatriyas or kings who are really knowers of dharma, who know how to guide citizens towards material as well as spiritual well-being. And uh, that's the difference between traditional varnashram society and today's society, modern society, where we don't find uh, such kshatriyas, such administrators. And even if we do find some good people here and there, uh, the future is again unpredictable, because these people are not going to be with us for long time. So again, uh, punar mushiko bhava. Once again, we come back to our unfortunate situation. So this is something all we should realize, that why we are so enthusiastic to elect only some relatively good people. Instead, we should really uh, act for creating such good people. So here, Arjuna is talking about protecting such good population. So if we kill our elders, that is Arjuna's uh, fundamental argument. That if we kill our superiors, then uh, in the absence of guidance from superiors, the women class or womanhood will be exploited, because they will not be protected by the superiors. And as Vishwanath Chakri Thakur also explains here, I will just quote him. प्रदुष्यन्ति इति अधर्मः अधर्मे एव ताः व्यभिचारे प्रवर्तयति इति भावः. So by the word pradushyanti, Vishwanath Chakri Thakur explains that the womanhood or women will uh, engage themselves in adharma. So they will imitate uh, Arjuna. That if Arjuna and others can give up their dharma, or they can uh, become so uh, violent that just to get uh, the, some material gain, they are ready to kill their own relatives. Then why not just to get our lusty desires fulfilled? We can also give up dharma. So that's the argument Arjuna is offering here. That the striya, women, will also think in these terms. As if we can think like that, just to maintain ourselves, we need some kingdom, and for that we can do anything. We can kill our elders. So women will also similarly think like that. So that's the argument. Okay, continuing. As children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Now, this statement may sound very offensive. That how how are you comparing women with children? So it's not really offensive, but it's the reality that uh, women and children, in terms of uh, psychology, uh, they are not really uh, discriminative regarding their own protection in terms of dharma. So they may be very expert in creating facilities or managing many people. It could be there. So we do not deny that women are less intelligent in terms of material achievements. But here, uh, as it is common in kids or children, they are very emotionally driven. So similarly, women are also emotionally driven personalities, and because of this uh, particular attribute, they are uh, they tend to be misguided very easily if they get exposed to um, bad people or bad association. And this what is and this is exactly is going on in our society. We don't have good people in society who are good people means cultured people, those who know uh, how to respect women, how to uh, respect them as mothers and really care for them. We don't have such people in society. So, in the absence of such good people, we don't have proper uh, family system. And I'm not talking about devotees. I'm talking about general people. That in the absence of good people, what scenario we are observing? So, women they don't listen to their husband. Often we hear divorces and abortions, extramarital affairs, or living relationships, and all these things are being infiltrated in our society by uh, mass social media. We see celebrities, you know, uh, exposing themselves to many males, particularly women. Uh, uh, they are having relationship with many men, so we also get motivated by them. That what's wrong in that? Though, uh, thanks to our forefathers, that we still have some culture left in India, but still there is always a struggle between our old culture and this modern influence. So unless and until we are properly guided by uh, good people or devotees uh, in terms of shastra, then there is uh, always a risk that we may get swayed by the influence of our modern society, and we may have to get frustrated because of the uh, because the society is going in a very degraded state. For simple words, we can say uh, society is going towards animalistic behavior, and if we are also aiming for such animal behavior, then let's not expect any um happy scenario in our families. We cannot stop that, and that's why it is essential to hear from shastras, hear from the words of great personalities who have given us the guidance. Uh, so well, let us continue because time is also less. Okay. Therefore, both children and women, as children are very prone to be misled, women are similarly very prone to degradation. Therefore, both children and women require protection by the elder members of the family. So sometimes there's a question that why do you think that women cannot protect themselves? They can also um mix freely with men, and they don't need protection from men. They can manage themselves. They can protect themselves. But uh, here we are talking in terms of their purity, their their overall personality. Because as I mentioned, uh, they are very emotionally driven. So there is a possibility that they may be misused by some bad people. So by the time women realize that she or they are actually being exploited by these people, it is too late, and the consequences are uh, left for women to suffer. So men they go away, and women have to suffer those consequences. So when they are protected by family members, so out of social fear, they do not intermingle with any man, good or bad. That's a different thing. But they just do not intermingle with any man, and it is very essential for them to be uh, protected. Otherwise, um they because of their own psychological features, they may influence others. So it's not their own fault, but this is how women are made. So when they mix with men or appear before men, naturally there is a change in the environment, and this is something uh, in Vedic culture everyone recognize that this attraction is very powerful, and this can uh, mislead even a person in knowledge. So that is why to save everyone, not just women, but to save everyone, we have to uh, find some ways, and scriptures have already given those ways. So here that is being described. By being engaged in various religious practices, women will not be misled into adultery. So the other day we were discussing about different religious traditions, kula paramparas. So uh, when women are engaged in such religious activities, religious functions, for example, samskaras or uh, any household chores uh, related to their own grihastha dharma, so they will be very happy, and they will be protected. So they should not be exposed to uh, men for no reasons. Even uh, within family members, they are not supposed to uh, be so exposed to uh, anyone who is not their husband. So there is some restriction, and uh, modern society sees it as something unnatural or uncomfortable, that women are being restricted in Vedic society. But that restriction is not always bad thing. Even nowadays we have restrictions. So the only the nature of restriction is changed. However, restriction is always there in any cultured, disciplined society. There is restriction, and for men they have different restrictions. For women they have different restrictions. But restrictions must be there. Without restrictions, it's an animal society. So if we see that restriction is not good, then we are uh, actually aiming for animal life, where we do not want any sort of restrictions. So, okay, let me conclude. According to Chanakya Pandit, women are generally not very intelligent and therefore not trustworthy. So the different family traditions of religious activities should always engage them, and thus their chastity and devotion will give birth to a good population eligible for participating in the Varnashram system. So once again, I repeat that whenever it is said that women are less intelligent, it is about the general populace, and uh, often the context is their uh, discriminative power to see what is dharma and what is adharma, because they are driven by emotions, and that is the weak point. That is a good point also, because by their emotions they can nurture kids, they can uh, keep everyone connected to one family. So that's a good side of their being emotional. But at the same time, they do have this weakness, that because of being driven by emotions, they need to be uh, guided by elders. So uh, let us not see it as something offensive to anyone, but that's a way how they are designed. Like, children are also very restless and naughty, and they tend to commit mistakes, and though they are intelligent, but still they get driven by some any desires. So it's not their own fault, but somehow that it's a fault of their being children. So similarly, uh, women, though they may have very good intentions, and they are very uh, pure in behavior, but still, because primarily they are driven by emotions, so they need someone to guide them. Next, on the failure of such Varnashram dharma, naturally the women become free to act and mix with men, and thus adultery is indulged in at the risk of unwanted population. Irresponsible men also provoke adultery in society, and thus unwanted children flood the human race at the risk of war and pestilence. So one may question that what is the fear of unwanted population? For if women mix freely with men, okay, let there be children like that. What is the issue? The point is that such children born of illegitimate relationship, they are not eligible to follow Varnashram Dharma. So, in other words, they are uh, they do not have the element of tapasya in their life, because to have tapasya or self control, uh, it that also need support from the some people who also have tapasya. So the parents who themselves performing tapasya and following self control in their lives, only such parents can give birth to a self controlled progeny. Whereas those people who do not control themselves, or very loose in behavior, they tend to uh, be more, uh, how to say, it's very difficult, but they are more like animals actually, because they don't have any sense of responsibility towards dharma, because they are not able to even protect themselves. So they cannot think about protecting the society. That's why we see such people, they are so selfish and so crazy in behavior. Whereas in the Vedic culture, we are taught from the beginning that sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramaya. So that's the heart of Vedic culture, that only cultured person they can think like that. That let all be happy, let all be free from diseases. So unless we have such a good population in society, it is expected that such unwanted people, unwanted children, who will be uh, irresponsible because of their bad seed from their parents. So let us not expect any good from them. They will be creating wars. They will be creating destruction in the society, and that is what is happening in our society. And it is very important for us to understand this point, that once women are uh, protected, there is a hope for good population. Now, when we say that women should be protected, that does not negate that men should be uh, men should not be protected, or men should be made free to act as they like. That is not the abhipraya. That is not the intention. Men should also be guided and protected by their own superiors. So it is not that only to create good progeny is not the duty of women alone. It's also a duty of male, and that's why male also need to be guided by their superiors, who are also cultured people. So basically, we all need protection. It's not only women or children, but particularly the context is that of women. So that's why we are talking about women here, and because they are very prone to degradation. So Arjuna is raising this issue that killing superiors, killing our elders, will not be good for the benefit of the society. Okay, so I will conclude here. Sorry for taking some little more time. So today I will not take any questions. Already there is so I crossed my time limit. So tomorrow we can ask any question if you have. Okay, so let's stop here. वाञ्छा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. हरे कृष्णा. श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Thank you so much for joining.